sex tape, Jeff, is to eventually release it. You don't keep that shit private.
That's true.
Hey guys, what is going on? This is the first episode of Jeff and Reese Talk Shit. I am, of course, your host, Reese Niles.
My name is Jeff.
and as you probably guessed, we're gonna talk about some shit. Yeah, so
that's what we do.
We're a brand new entertainment podcast. We talk about film, music, gaming, and all the stuff that you boys and girls love. And so we're actually gonna hand it off to Jeff for our first one here. We're gonna go on our film topic. Jeff, you recently saw Hacksaw Ridge. You got to see it before any of the general public. What did you think about it?
Alright, so, Hacksaw Ridge. I was cautiously optimistic about it because, it's like, I always thought Mel Gibson has been an excellent director. Mm-hmm. And, with movies like, Braveheart, everyone loves Braveheart. Mm-hmm. But, he is also a religious nut. Mm-hmm. And so...
No, what, really?
Yeah, I know, like you guys are learning a lot today on this podcast.
Breaking news, ladies and gentlemen.
But, so, I thought the story was interesting, like the story of this World War II hero that, that saved a bunch of lives, but, he refused to fire a single bullet, or, just handle a weapon of any kind. And I thought, okay, that's an interesting story, but could someone like Mel Gibson, find that balance, between, showcasing the true bravery of this man without a bunch of, pretentious symbolism, basically. And, that was overall my biggest concern, was that he would just go completely overboard with the religious undertones of the storyline. And thankfully, that was not the case whatsoever. So Hacksaw Ridge stars Andrew Garfield. It's got Hugo Weaving and Sam Worthington. Surprisingly, Vince Vaughn, and it's got a really good cast. And I guess I pretty much already said the story earlier, but yeah. So going into it, I was cautiously optimistic, but leaving the theater, I was like, I couldn't stop thinking about it. It just hit me on such a raw, emotional level. Like, it honestly, it might be the best World War II film since Saving Private Ryan.
Wow, that's a pretty high praise there.
It is. I know it is, but it just, everything it set out to do, it just did perfectly. Like the cinematography is absolutely beautiful. The performances are extraordinary. Like, I really want Andrew Garfield to receive a Best Actor nomination, because I've always thought he has been an extremely talented actor ever since I first saw him pop up in The Social Network. And
your favorite movie, The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Okay, I will make this note right here. I fucking hate both Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2. I hate those movies with every fiber of my being. But even though I don't like how the character of Peter Parker was portrayed in both of those movies, I got the sense that, Garfield had a lot of passion for the character. And, I don't blame him. I blame Sony, because Sony is Sony. Sony's just...
At least their movie division.
Sony's movie division is kind of the worst thing ever. But, yeah, so... what also surprised me most was just, like, how well filmed the battle scenes were,
In Hacksaw Ridge or Amazing Spider-Man 2?
Amazing Spider-Man 2, that didn't happen. It just didn't, Reace.
He's grabbing a noose right now. Just thought I'd let you guys know. Anyways, continue.
But yeah, so in Hacksaw Ridge, the way the battle scenes were filmed, so many films that just try to have they just try to add intensity, through quick cuts and shaky cam, and unless it's done right, which pretty much the only director I know of that can do that well is Paul Greengrass. The director of the Bourne movies, United 93, Captain Phillips. He's the only director I know that can handle shaky cam and quick cuts, during action scenes, and actually pull them off in a cohesive way. But in Hacksaw Ridge, it was filmed the way I think, I almost don't even want to call it action. It's not action. It's it's war. Mm-hmm. And so
what is it good for?
Absolutely nothing.
Anyways, go on.
Oh man, we probably already lost half the viewers. Yeah. So the way that the battle scenes were filmed in this movie, it was utilized with a bunch of really nice long takes. Everything was extremely well framed. Everything cut at just the right point. The sound design was amazing. Like it was probably the best sounding war film since Lone Survivor. It's like I don't think Lone Survivor is a perfect movie, but I thought the sound design was in that movie was like flawless. Like it really immersed you into the situation because people tend to underestimate how vital sound is in a movie, and it's and I would say that in Hacksaw Ridge it pulled that off flawlessly. And also I need to talk about Hugo Weaving.
Yeah, I was about to say, because you when you first talked to me about this, you did mention in particular you really emphasized Hugo Weaving's performance.
Yeah. So Hugo Weaving, it's like everyone knows him as Mr. Smith or
Agent.
Agent. I don't like The Matrix, so I
I
don't know.
You and Nostalgia Critic would love each other.
Oh yeah, we'd be best pals. So I don't know, because we'd probably hate each other because he doesn't like Lost World.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I'll probably fight him for it. But anyway.
And he also likes the Amazing Spider-Man more than the regular Spider-Man. Anyway, go on before you have an aneurysm.
I'm sorry, Doug. We're not on good terms anymore. But so anyway, Hugo Weaving. We all love him for these sort of fantasy and sci-fi characters. But here, this was just like a really just emotionally raw performance from him. It's like you saw him just like break down and cry. You just got the sense that this was just a broken man that clearly he's been through some shit. Because he plays the father of Andrew Garfield's character, and he himself is a war veteran. And so when you just see him, you just look at his face, and you just get the sense that this guy he's not what he used to be. And so I feel like the way Hugo Weaving's character was portrayed, like I almost got the sense that, oh my god, like he's probably trying to just save his son from going to war, because he was probably just like Andrew Garfield. He just wanted to do his part and serve, but not taking into account what could happen after, if he even survives. It's like you regardless, you come out of something like that a changed person, for better or for worse, but most of the time for worse. And so the way Mel Gibson directed all of his actors, there's like tons of them that could easily receive a nomination of some kind, particularly Andrew Garfield and Hugo Weaving. But most surprisingly was Vince Vaughn. Vince Vaughn gave a legitimately good dramatic performance as this drill sergeant, and it's like I usually like Vince Vaughn, but when sometimes he can get on my nerves a little bit, because I just feel like he just does the same shit all the time. But in here, he still has like his fast Vince Vaughn quips, but for the character he was portraying, it really worked. It worked very well, and even more surprisingly, Sam Worthington gives a good performance, and I've never hated Sam Worthington. I always got the sense that, okay, he seems like a nice guy and stuff, but I just never got why he was always just thrown into these big movies when he just never had that much charisma. And I thought he was one of the weakest parts of Avatar. I don't like Avatar that much, but his dull performance didn't help much at all. And I thought he was dull as shit in Terminator Salvation.
Did you just say shit? We can't say that on here.
Oh fuck! I'm sorry.
God fucking damn it, Jeff.
Son of a fucking bitch! God damn it!
Shit, we'll edit that out, I guess. Jesus Christ, go on.
Fuck. Okay. But yeah. So to just wrap up my overall thoughts, Hacksaw Ridge is definitely one of the best films of the year. This is something that you definitely need to see in theaters. And the performances from all the actors are top of the line. The battle scenes are filmed are just beautifully filmed. They really capture the raw, emotionally traumatizing elements of war. Like it's like you leave the theater almost shaken. Like you feel yourself like you were just in a war, and
not literally, but figuratively.
Figuratively, yes. It's like
yeah. Where the fuck did my arm go? Jesus.
Yeah. So if I had to, just rate the film on a scale of 1 to 10, because I'm basic, I guess, I'd probably rate it a solid 9 out of 10. It's definitely one of the best films of the year. It's definitely a great comeback for Mel Gibson. And I really wanted to see him direct more films like this, and not Passion of the Christ 2. I don't know if that's actually a thing, but he keeps bringing that shit up, and I'm like, come on, Mel, just come back. It's like it's like right now you are back, but just stay back. But yeah, so definitely get a chance to. Don't get a chance. If you get a chance to see Hacksaw Ridge, definitely do so. It's well worth the money.
Oh, well, thank you for that very much, Jeff. Is there any other maybe overlooked movies you want to talk about? Anything off the top of your head, or?
Yeah, actually, there was one film I saw. It had a very limited theatrical run in the U.S. as far as I know, and it's a film from New Zealand called The Hunt for the Wilder People. I don't know the director's name off the top of my head, but it's the same director that's currently doing Thor Ragnarok.
Okay.
And so the film stars Sam Neill, and I'm a big Jurassic Park fan.
Who was also in Thor Ragnarok,
which is amazing. And so I'm a big Sam Neill fan, but Sam Neill has obviously been in some shitty movies. And so I'd say it's been a long while since he's been in a definitively great movie. And The Hunt for the Wilder People was a great movie. I don't want to spoil the plot on this one too much, just because it's such a unique film. Like, the best way I can describe it without getting into story is it has the charm and almost feel of a Wes Anderson movie, but it doesn't have the cinematography style of Wes Anderson, but it has that somewhat offsetting, quirky, yet charming sense that movies like Moonrise Kingdom and the Grand Budapest Hotel have. And I don't think this movie received enough attention. It gives the best performance from Sam Neill since Jurassic Park easily. It's very funny. It's you definitely you get behind the two central characters and their relationship. It's overall just a very unique original film that I can't think of anything to compare it to. It's definitely, it feels like its own thing, its own unique little thing. And being that the film was shot in New Zealand, it obviously looks beautiful because the landscape of New Zealand is just absolutely lush and gorgeous, and it's one of his, they're so bad. But yeah, so if it's not like a fast-paced comedy, so it's not like Central Intelligence or anything like that. But if
wait, hold on, did you just call Central Intelligence a comedy?
Dude, that movie was funny.
Anyway, it could go on.
Funny.
I disagree. I'm not a big Kevin Hart fan, honestly. But
I'm usually not either. But like, dude, The Rock killed in that.
I like The Rock.
I love The Rock.
I just said I love The Rock.
I love The Rock.
I love The Rock, but
I
don't like Central Intelligence.
And The Rock loves you too, but not if you don't like Central Intelligence.
The Rock loves you as long as you smell what he's cooking tonight. Anyways, go on.
So yeah, if you have a chance to track it down either on DVD or Blu-ray or any kind of streaming service, definitely take a couple hours out of your day and just sit back and enjoy The Hunt for the Wilder People.
All right, well, thank you for that, Jeff. That is going to close out our film segment, whereas there's obviously no other topics that we could possibly be going on in the film segment, so we're just going to go right on to music. So first on this list, I actually got a chance to see Seven Dust a couple weeks ago, and I mean, I'm actually a relatively new Seven Dust fan. I got into them about a year ago with their most recent album at the time, Kill the Flaw, which I really like, and since then I've collected almost their entire discography, courtesy of my friend Zachary Marcus Mitchell. But yeah, so I got a chance to see them live, and I mean, they put on a kick-ass show, great mosh pit. But what I really want to talk about is one of the openers. Actually, there was a band that I'd never heard of before, a local band in downtown Sacramento called Fall Rise, and unfortunately, I looked the guys up after the show, and unfortunately, it appears like they're on their last run of shows, which I've said unfortunate quite a few times because they were honestly one of my highlights of the show. These guys were tremendous. Tremendous, believe me. But yeah, if you guys are into metal music and you want a band to listen to, look up Fall Rise. They have a couple albums on iTunes right now. They are solid. Great band chemistry, extremely talented. So yeah, I want to give those guys a shout out because those guys definitely I want to do anything to get those guys touring again because they are phenomenal and they put on a hell of a show. And so if for some reason any of you guys are watching this podcast, just want you guys to know that you guys kicked my ass, and I mean that in the best way possible. So our next thing on music, Bon Jovi released a new album. What in the actual fuck? I did not.
Say what?
Shut the fuck up. Anyways, yeah. So I didn't. So yeah. I am out of the duo, Jeff and I am the music guy, and even I did not know about this until Thursday.
Dumbass.
Yeah, I feel like it. Yeah, Thursday the 3rd. That is when I found out Bon Jovi was releasing an album. They just released it on Friday, like a couple days before we're recording this. Yeah, it's entitled "This House Is Not for Sale." You can buy it right now. Bon Jovi, they're not like one of my hardcore favorites. I don't own all their albums, but I really like him. I'm sure a lot of you probably like him too. And so if you do, just thought I'd throw out there, they got a new album if you want to check that out. And last but not least on our music, Run the Jewels, one of my favorite rap duos featuring one of my favorite rappers, Killer Mike and LP. They are about to release a new album, Run the Jewels 3, and they just on the same day Bon Jovi released their album, they dropped a new single for their album. It's called Talk to Me, and it's dope as shit, so check that out. Wow, we just blazed through all that music, so we're just gonna go right to gaming.
Yeah, like we totally just blazed through that. Like
We 420 blazed through that.
Like I was obviously a mass contributor to that topic of the show.
Obviously, I could not have done the music portion without you, Jeff. Thank you so much.
Well, what the hell would you do without me?
We're going to gaming. Nintendo Switch thoughts. So yeah, this topic is kind of old, but we haven't really had a podcast to really discuss our thoughts. And me, Jeff, I know you're not really into the modern Nintendo consoles, so I was really curious about what your thoughts would be on this. But,
to speak 100% honestly, I have not really kept up with the Nintendo consoles, or Nintendo much of anything since the Wii launched back in, what was it, like 2006?
Yeah, the original Wii, not the Wii U.
Yeah, like not the Wii U, and I never had a DS, never had a 3DS, never had any of that. Pretty much my it ended at the Wii, and even then I didn't have that many games for it. So honestly, I would consider my last Nintendo console to be the Game Boy Advance. Honestly.
Oh, not even the GameCube.
No, I was a PS2 kid, and when I always remember I've always appreciated Nintendo. Actually no, I take that back. I think Nintendo is fucking awesome, and I mostly, when I think of Nintendo, I think of the NES and the Super Nintendo glory days. I think that's when I feel like that's when their games were the most creative, when they were the most, where they demonstrated the most timeless gameplay, where they just pretty much, when I guess the best way to describe it is, if you were to ask me when I think of Nintendo, something that would come to my mind would be specifically the original Super Mario Brothers, or Donkey Kong Country, or
Mm-hmm.
Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, and Castlevania 4, or like when I think of Nintendo, that's what I think of, and but I'm not really thinking of like was it like Super there's like Super Mario Galaxy, or like
My favorite Mario game ever, if I'm being completely honest.
yeah, no, it's like again, like I've always been curious about it, but it's like I never kept up with any of that, and so it's like, and I'm sure a lot of the games that Nintendo is still making is great, but I've just never kept up with it. Like I've kind of like shifted my focus in terms of modern gaming over to the PlayStation 4, and the only Nintendo gaming I traditionally do is, again, when I find a good price for old Super Nintendo games on eBay. And yeah, as far as the Nintendo Switch, again, like I had no idea about this thing till till the trailer was just like everywhere. I didn't hear any rumors about it. I didn't hear a damn thing about this thing. And when I heard the concept, it's correct me if I'm wrong, but it's basically you're able to instantly take the gameplay that's that's on your TV, and you can just instantly detach that and like take it on the go on a portable device.
Yep, that is correct.
And again, like I think that's extremely cool. I think that's very cool, but again, it's unless there's like a significant amount of games for it that I really want, then I don't think that I'm gonna pick one up, because it really takes a lot for me to invest in a certain game console. There are rare cases that like one game will make you want to buy a console. Like the most recent example is I bought a PlayStation 4 so that I could play Uncharted 4 on launch day, just because I'm a diehard Uncharted fan, and so but I saw the trailer for the Zelda game that they the Zelda trailer that they had to go along with the announcement of the Switch, and it looks cool, but again, like it just, as far as I know, with every game that's been announced for it, there's just nothing that has me hooked. Like there's no part of me that's like, I need to buy this right now, or like whenever launch day is. It's like I'm not gonna be counting down the days or anything like that, and I'll probably buy it. I might buy one a couple years after it launches, and like when it goes down a couple $100 in price or something. But as far as I'm concerned right now, it's I think it looks very cool, and I'm excited for all the diehard Nintendo fans that they're actually able to get behind something extremely exciting. That because I've always felt like Nintendo was starting to go downhill a little bit, but this looks like the next big step for them, and so I'm glad that this is going to keep Nintendo relevant, and this is going to keep the fans loyal to them, and I'm wishing them the very best. And but as far as I'm concerned right now, it's just not something I'm super hyped about.
Mm-hmm. So basically, what it sounds like is the biggest selling point for you when it comes to a console in general. You want a wide variety of games and good exclusive games that you can't find on any other platform.
Yep.
That you in particular are interested in, because obviously all consoles have their exclusives, but exclusive games are going to appeal to different demographics.
Exactly. Yeah, and yeah, I guess like what it really comes down to also is like I bought a PS3 because I wanted to try out Uncharted, and I wanted to try out Uncharted because I grew up with Jak and Daxter, and so I have that Naughty Dog brand loyalty attached with me, and so it's not only that, it's companies like Rockstar and certain cases Konami, and so but there's nothing with Nintendo that I have any form of loyalty with other than their classic brands.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, does that make much sense?
Yeah, no, I understood that perfectly. Yeah. So coming from my end, because full disclosure, I am a Nintendo fanboy at heart. However, I'm not afraid to criticize them. I am a fanboy. I love Nintendo, but They are not perfect. Believe me, they are not perfect by
Virtual Boy.
by any stretch of their treatment of Metroid fans. But anyways, but no, I really do. I love Nintendo, and the reason I criticize them when they do screw up is because I love them, because I want them to learn from their mistakes and do better. And so my reaction to what was the NX but is now dubbed the Nintendo Switch, I'm really excited for it. Which is odd because I'm not much of a portable gamer. So here's my take on it, and I've explained this to a lot of my Facebook friends, but I'm gonna explain it for all the people listening on to the podcast. The reason why I'm so excited for the portability aspect personally, not just because everyone else is excited about it, but for me personally, even though I'm rarely going to use that, I'm like 99.9% of the time it's going to be plugged into my TV. That's all it's going to do. The reason why that excites me is because as somebody who buys every Nintendo console, whether it's a handheld or a home console, for the first time, all of that is going to be on one cohesive system, and that means a lot of opportunities. It means Nintendo is going to be merging their handheld and console divisions together, which means more games, more collaborations. And so that's going to be less of a drought in the games, and it's going to be higher quality products because you're going to be having bigger teams working on them. And that really excites me as a Nintendo fan because, in my opinion, purely my own, I think Nintendo makes the best games. Out of all the company's exclusives, like I love Uncharted, I love The Last of Us, I love Halo, I love Gears of War, I love all the exclusives that everyone has, I love them. But personally, for me, Nintendo has the best. With stuff like Super Mario Brothers, Metroid, my favorite gaming series of all time, Splatoon, a brand new IP recently released for the Wii U, which is a brilliant. If you do for some reason have a Wii U, I highly recommend you play it. It's so much fun. But yeah, Nintendo, in my opinion, makes the best games. And with the merging of their two divisions, this means we're going to get even more of those, and that just completely excites me.
Yeah, like definitely when you say it from that perspective, it's I'm excited to see where it goes, but and if it goes in a positive direction, and there is that wide variety of games, then yeah, I think I will pick one up eventually. But even when it comes out, I'm just in no rush. I'm mostly just kind of, I'm just gonna mostly just kind of sit back and just see where it all goes in the first couple of years of its launch.
Mm-hmm. And I'm definitely not in ultra high. Like, I'm excited for it, but I also have my reservations. Like, there's a lot of things Nintendo has to address. Like, for instance, the third party support I think is a big one. Now they've already released a list. However, they released a list for the Wii U as well, and we all know how that turned out. That eventually didn't pan through. So Nintendo's going to have to really prove that this time they're not fucking around with that third-party list that they touted. And if they do go through with it, if they do go through with it, then that list they provided is going to be huge. But that does remain to be seen. The battery life, this doesn't really concern me because, as I said, this is going to be plugged into my TV most of the time. But most of the people that are excited because of that portable aspect. That is the selling point for most people. And so I think that battery life is going to be a very important thing. If it's like 3 hours, this is gonna go downhill fast.
Oh yeah.
I think it needs to be at least 5 hours minimum if Nintendo wants to be shipping these units out of stores.
I mean, I remember the Game Boy Advance had a ridiculously long battery life, and so I've always wondered how come they've never been able to redo that. Well,
the Game Boy Advance, I mean, obviously there's far more simplistic technology.
Yeah.
It's a 32-bit pixelated graphics. The Nintendo Switch is going to be running something comparable to the Xbox One or PlayStation 4 on a portable tablet-like device. So that's going to be. So obviously that's going to be a lot more battery life being chugged out of that thing.
This guy knows what's up.
The ceiling. But anyways, yeah, I think everybody knows our thoughts on the Switch now. I think we should go on to the next topic. What do you think?
Okay.
All right. So the next thing, a lot of shit happened on Friday. So I talked about all the music things that happened on Friday, but there was a very popular game that came out on Friday. The internet just loves Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. There's nothing when you see a video of Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, there's nothing but there's zero. I cannot think of one person that's ever disliked the Call of Duty Infinite Warfare trailer. It is people just love the direction it's going in.
Dude, it's like the most liked trailer since Ghostbusters.
Oh my gosh, I would drop this mic, but I don't want to break it, honestly. Oof.
Reese, did you?
Obviously, he's talking about the original, not the new Ghostbusters. That's the one everyone loves.
Dude, come on! Like, how could you not love like the brilliant performances of like Kristen Wiig, especially in the trailer with like her brilliant delivery.
That stuff went everywhere, by the way, in every crack. Very hard to wash off.
I'm just like, take my money, take it all. Like, you guys get it. You fucking get it. You guys. That's a rant for another day. I got some shit to say about that movie.
I have a feeling this is going to come up in another episode. But anyways, no.
Foreshadowing!
We're being so subtle about this. So anyways, on a serious note, I was actually one of the few people that was actually pretty interested in Infinite Warfare. And I have not purchased a Call of Duty game. Obviously, I did purchase Infinite Warfare, spoiler alert. But I haven't purchased a Call of Duty game since Black Ops 2, and that released in November 2012. So that is 4 years ago. That is 4 years. And Call of Duty, obviously, everyone knows it's a yearly release by a different studio every year. So that's 4 years in a row. And I used to be on that yearly release cycle. I purchased everything from COD 3 all the way to Black Ops 2. I didn't buy Modern Warfare 3. I borrowed that one from a friend. But I played every single Call of Duty game up until that point. I completely... dirty. Anyways. But no, I didn't purchase Ghosts, or even played it for that matter. Didn't play Ghosts, didn't play Advanced Warfare, didn't play Black Ops 3.
No one played Ghosts.
And that is true. You're not wrong. But no, I didn't. I got worn out from the Call of Duty format, and I was like, okay, you know what? I need a break for now. And I almost bought Black Ops 3, but I decided against it. But Infinite Warfare to me felt like the right game to get back into the series because of how unique it looked. I was really intrigued by the space aspect, and I understand why a lot of people. Weren't excited about it, but I also think it's funny because the narrative for the longest time was, oh, fuck Call of Duty, it's the same game every year, do something different, and then Infinite Warfare comes, Infinity Ward's like, yo, check this out, we're taking Call of Duty to outer space, you can fly spaceships, there's gonna be zero-G combat, it's gonna be insane, and what does everyone do? Oh, fuck this game, we literally only want the exact same game you made from fucking 7 years ago.
Honestly, like,
9 years ago.
When I first saw the trailer, like, all I could picture was just like a bunch of the gaming executives sitting in a boardroom, just thinking like, what the fuck can we do now? And then they're just thinking, just a few moments of awkward silence, and then someone just throwing up their arms saying, "Fuck it, let's go to space."
It's actually funny. That's kind of what they basically say that in the launch trailer for Infinite War. Infinite War. It's basically it features all these celebrities and shit, and it's like in this kind. It takes place kind of after the presidential election, and everyone's just all depressed and shit, and one of the guys just looks at the other and goes, "Screw it, let's go to space."
After this election, that sounds about accurate.
let's send them to space. But anyways, back on topic. So I was actually quite excited just because of how unique this game looked. So I played the beta about I want to say 3-4 weeks ago now, and I actually wasn't that impressed with the beta. I played the beta. This is the multiplayer beta, by the way. No single player zombies content. And it actually didn't really impress me that much because despite the fact that it was, like about a century into the future, that it has all this futuristic technology and that, it takes place in space and all these moons orbiting around planets that we have yet to actually travel to. It was.
Wait, hold up. They still have zombies?
Oh yeah, zombies is in the new game. Yeah,
so are you saying that they're space zombies?
Zombies in space. I will get. I actually haven't.
Space zombies. I need this game.
It's not in space. Just let me get to it when I get to it. I haven't played the mode yet, but I do want to talk about it because it's a lot different from the zombies modes we've gotten prior. It's pretty interesting, and I think you'll like it actually.
Dude, I want to see zombies just like floating around.
Well, there
Zero gravity.
There actually was in Black Ops, one of the DLC maps in Black Ops 1. There is a zombie map that takes place on both Area 51 and the moon that you can teleport between the two locations. And the moon is the main location, and there is low gravity zombies.
That's amazing. Yeah. How am I just not hearing about this? Holy shit.
Yeah, true story. But so anyways, the multiplayer beta was pretty much for the most part. There's a few different things, like there's the combat rigs now that's kind of like a Infinity Ward's version of the Black Ops 3 specialists. So that's a kind of a new thing. The fucking RNG crates. I fucking hate RNG crate systems. That, of course, is back in this game because it makes money, and people tend to like money. But besides that, it's pretty much, it doesn't really evolve the multiplayer formula in ways that I was kind of hoping it would be, with the game going to outer space with it, with some of the multiplayer maps taking on fucking the Saturn moon of Titan. Like, you'd think, oh, that could present some gameplay changes. Not really. I mean, you still have the relatively new, the wall running and the boost jumping mechanics from Black Ops 3, but even so, like, it doesn't drastically change the formula where it's like, whoa, this feels like the next step. It's, and again, it's not bad. I didn't think the beta was bad by any means, but it didn't particularly blow me away. Like I'd much rather go back and play Gears of War 4 or even Star Wars Battlefront rather than play more Infinite Warfare, or even go back to do some COD 4 multiplayer, since that's a thing now. So that was about 3-4 weeks ago. I got my copy in the mail from Amazon Prime on Friday, and first thing I did after installing the game was play through the campaign, because that's always what I do. I always like to play through the campaign of a Call of Duty game before I tap into the multiplayer. And I gotta say, the campaign was actually pretty tight. I really enjoyed it. And I haven't really enjoyed a COD campaign since Black Ops 1. And even so, that was more so for the story, not necessarily for the gameplay. In terms of gameplay, Modern Warfare 2 was the last one I really had fun playing through. And Infinite Warfare really brings that back. And unlike the multiplayer, it does take advantage of that futuristic technology. Like, for starters, the campaign is quite meaty. It's not just your typical missions. You also have optional side missions that you can go on, which is kind of a first for the COD series. Black Ops 2 kind of had side missions. It was like this weird first-person RTS hybrid, though. These are like legit side missions. There's both boots on the ground as well as air missions that you can do, and they really expand the length of the campaign. Like, usually I can finish a COD campaign in like 5 hours. This one took me about 9 to 10 hours. So it's fairly lengthy for a COD game. The only downside probably is that I can think of is the villains. Kit Harington plays from Game of Thrones, Jon Snow. He plays the main bad guy, and about as generic as they come. He'll randomly, he's the, I'm the bad guy for reasons, because I'm evil and shit, and I'm so evil that I'll randomly even shoot my own henchmen to show you that I'm not fucking around. That kind of guy. And it's kind of sad to see a talented actor like Kit Harington just kind of wasted on this generic, almost kind of like a Marvel villain. I'm not foreshadowing anything.
Wasn't Kevin Spacey in one of the COD games?
Yeah, Advanced Warfare. He was in that.
I would play that just to see Kevin Spacey in a fucking video game.
I haven't played that one yet.
It'd probably be more dignified than 9 Lives.
But yeah, Kit Harington, he's the leader of the in-game villains there, the Settlement Defense Front. Their backstory, this whole story of the game is, it's generic. Like, okay, these are the bad guys. They want to inflict genocide against. So basically, the Settlement Defense Front. They in the future, we go off Earth to colonize and gather resources because we've used up almost all of the Earth's natural resources, and during that. A lot of people that are born off planet create a movement called the Settlement Defense Front, and they want to inflict genocide against Earth, and that's your basic go-to plot. One day they happen to take out all our fleet, and we have to retaliate and make sure that they don't fully destroy Earth, and that's the basic story of Infinite Warfare in a nutshell. So it's from a story point, it's nothing to write home about. The villain is one-dimensional and generic, could not give a shit, but the characters have some. The characters on your side, not the villains, but, the guys that you're fighting with have great chemistry. They have some very memorable lines. They're not going to go down as memorable as, like, Captain Price, Ghost, Gaz, McTavish. But,
I don't know who any of these people are.
COD 4, you don't know those guys.
I've played, I've only played, casually multiplayer at friends' houses, that's my...
okay.
Yeah,
well, basically Captain Price, Soap McTavish, Ghost, those are probably, the most... Or Sergeant Woods, those are probably, I'd say, the most... the most recognizable Call of Duty names. I don't think any of these guys are going to go down, as memorable as those, except for Ethan, who is, he's an android. He's the first, I believe he's your first android sidekick in a Call of Duty game, and he is one of the most memorable characters. He has some of the funniest dialogue in the game. So I really liked Ethan. I like the whole cast as well. I just personally don't think they're gonna be go down quite as historically, if that makes any sense. But I really enjoyed the whole cast. I liked their banner together. I particularly like how Ray is the main character you play, is how he actually evolves throughout the game and how he it affects his decision making, especially in the last level. And I really like how the whole thing closed out. And so yeah, if you do buy Call of Duty games for the single player, this is definitely on the top tier of the list. This is one of the best Call of Duty campaigns I've played. The best one I've played, again, since Black Ops 1, which is, I want to say 2010? Yeah, that was 2010, so...
It's been that long?
Yeah, it's been that long since I've played a COD campaign that's made me go, whoa, that was fun. Immediately finished that, I was like, whoa, I want to replay that again. I won't give away too many spoilers, but there's one mission in particular that involves an asteroid. If you've played through the campaign, you know exactly what I'm talking about, and that's all I'm going to say. God damn, what a fantastic mission. But anyways, so yeah, there's one more thing to talk about on that game, and that is the Zombies mode, which I've not played, so I can't really say much about it, but it's called Zombies in Spaceland. It takes place in the 80s, and there's it's ridiculous. It's fucking 80s as fuck. It takes place in a theme park called Spaceland. And there's a fucking 80s soundtrack that's DJ'd by David Hasselhoff.
Oh my god.
It is there's Twisted Sister, I can't remember if Aha's there or not, but it's all these fucking 80s artists and shit. It's ridiculous, and so I'm definitely gonna play that very soon.
I would buy the game just for that.
Yeah. If you get an Xbox and you want to co-op it up, I'm more than happy.
Yeah, no. I'm too loyal to my PlayStation. If you want to come over to the cool side, so that you can finally play
the edgy side,
so you can finally play some Uncharted.
I have played Uncharted. I don't have Uncharted, but I have played it.
But if you played them all the way through, that's the question of the day.
Uncharted 2, I actually did play all the way through.
And it's pretty.
Yeah, I love Uncharted 2.
I know, it's so good.
But anyways, yeah. As well as Infinite Warfare, we if you bought the Legacy Edition or any collector's editions above that tier, you also got Modern Warfare Remastered, which is pretty fucking awesome. That game, if you love COD 4, it's like that. It looks prettier. There's also some little a little bit more tweaks, especially in the multiplayer compartment. There's been some more balancing. Calling cards are a thing now, but yeah, for the most part, it's the same COD 4 that you remembered. It doesn't have all the maps right now, but the rest of the maps, I believe, are coming in December for free, which is awesome. I actually thought they were going to charge us, but so it's pretty cool that Activision is actually going to release the rest of the maps for free later on. So kudos. So I like to, we like to talk shit about the game industry when they pull bullshit. But, I like to give credit where credit's due, and that's pretty cool of them to do that.
What a swell guy you are.
Tips Fedora. Anyways. So yeah, that's what I'm currently playing right now. What anything you're currently playing at the moment?
So right now, because I am broke as shit, I have not had the opportunity to pick up any recent titles. So in the meantime, I've just been dusting off some games from from my little collection I've been assembling since I was like, I don't know, 8 years old or something. And recently I've been playing probably my favorite movie game, which is there's not too many good ones to choose from, obviously, but I vividly remember buying this particular game when I was about 7 or 8 years old, and I just randomly saw it at Best Buy. I had no idea this game was even coming out, and it was it's called Jurassic Park Operation Genesis, and it was released for the PlayStation 2, the original Xbox, and PC, and it's essentially Zoo Tycoon with a Jurassic Park skin on it. And when you're a young kid and who's obsessed with Jurassic Park and dinosaurs and stuff, it was like the greatest thing in the world. And I've always had a soft spot for theme park building games. I've always loved games like Roller Coaster Tycoon and stuff. And so when I was a kid, I spent hours on this game, like hours and hours, and I always just tried to create the perfect park, just doing everything I possibly could to just get as good as I possibly can. And but over the years, I kind of I've been sort of off and on with it, just because some of the faults of the game is that it can get a little repetitive. There's not too much variety to it. Once you finish, the basic goal is to just get a 5-star park. Pretty basic. But once you get there, not much to do after that. And one thing that always pissed me off is that there's a limit to how many dinosaurs that you can actually breed. It is a limit of only 60 dinosaurs, which sucks.
Only 60 dinosaurs? How dare they?
Yeah, no, I know there's a way to mod it on PC where you can get 1,000 or something, which is the way it should be, but no, if you're trying to do it on console, as far as I know, you're fucked on that pretty much. And but the variety of dinosaurs in the game has always been pretty interesting. You have your basic Jurassic Park standards. You got the T-Rex, you got the Velociraptor, you got the Brachiosaurus, Stegosaurus, Spinosaurus. You got all that. But they got some. They have a few dinosaurs in there that haven't been featured in any Jurassic Park movies. There's this one called the Acrocanthosaurus, I believe. It's like this large carnivore, and the design of it in the game looks really cool, and I wouldn't mind seeing a dinosaur like that appear in a future Jurassic Park film. But yeah, so overall, lately, or not overall yet, I'm getting ahead of myself. But yeah, so recently, over the past couple months or so, I've been playing a lot more recently, and just when I have nothing to do and I just want to kill a couple hours, I pop it in, and it's now just a nice little nostalgia trip for me, because I've owned that game for, God, it's been 13 years since I've owned that game. And it's the fact that I'm still able to go back to it, despite all its problems, and I'm still able to just have a nice time with it. I think that says something about it. And so if you're a fan of the Jurassic Park game, or the Jurassic Park films, this is definitely worth tracking down. Nowadays it's a little harder to find, unfortunately. I believe the most common version to get is the PlayStation 2 version. I think that ranges for a decently a copy in decent enough condition, ranges from probably maybe 45 to $60. But the Xbox version is where it starts to get a little pricey. I think that ranges from anywhere between $90 to $130, and I know that's been known as one of the hardest to track down original Xbox games. And the PC version also ranges for about the same price as the Xbox version. So all games are not very easy to find, and so if you're either an avid game collector, a fan of the Jurassic Park films, I'd say they're definitely worth tracking down. But if you're just a casual gamer, it might not be your thing. Just being a fan of the franchise is what really helps boost it for me personally, and definitely for a lot of people. But I'd say it's something I've grown up with, and I'll probably continue to play for quite a few years to come.
All right, well, thank you for that, Jeff. Well, I think that wraps up our podcast about now, and so I think we'll
Hold up.
Wait, what's that?
What? What's that? Hey, Reese, did you know there's a new Marvel movie out there?
A Marvel? Are you talking about Captain America Civil War? That's what you're talking about, Civil War, right?
No! It just came out.
All right, Doctor Strange!
Doctor Strange?
Oh my god. I completely forgot about that. Obviously.
Gee whiz, Doctor Strange. Would you like to talk extensively about Doctor Strange?
I would like to talk extensively about Doctor Strange. And you know what? I think we should also do a giant spoiler-filled discussion about that. What do you think?
Spoiler alert, Bruce Willis is a ghost.
Ooh.
Wrong spoiler.
Too soon. But no, for the record, we are going to be going into full spoilers on Doctor Strange. This is your one and only warning. If you have not seen the movie and you give a shit about this kind of thing, get the fuck out. Or else we will forever ruin you. Or at least for about a week or so. You will be very angry. Get the fuck out if you haven't seen the movie. Spoilers. So yeah, Jeff, we had the opportunity to see Doctor Strange. Just came out on Friday. What are your thoughts on the movie?
I feel like my mind has been fucked quite extensively.
Now is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It is a very good thing.
Okay. All right, so I gotta say I really enjoyed the movie too. It's not my favorite of the Marvel movies.
Not mine
it's not my
either.
favorite, but it's definitely in the upper tier in my opinion. It's definitely one of Marvel's best recently.
I'd say it's worthy of cracking the top 10.
Oh, absolutely. We saw the movie. We both really liked it. Jeff, what are some things you liked about the movie? Like, just a general summary of Doctor Strange.
So, I knew absolutely nothing about the character. I've never read any of the comics. I didn't really even know what his powers were. I pretty much wanted to, but going into the movie, I tried to maintain my lack of knowledge of the character, just so that because I feel like that would just maximize my experience of it. And coming out of it, I was just kind of thinking to myself, I think I want to pick up a Doctor Strange comic, and just because I think it's just a really fascinating concept, and also Benedict Cumberbatch nailed it. Like I think Benedict Cumberbatch is one of the most talented actors working today, and it was really strange to hear his American accent at first because obviously he has an extremely thick British accent. For all two of you who's never heard him speak,
Penguins.
Exactly. And after a while, I just sort of got locked into the character, and I started to just not really see Cumberbatch anymore. I was just seeing Doctor Strange, and I felt like he definitely I got the sense that he definitely had respect for the character, and it was almost like with Ryan Reynolds in Deadpool. It's like he just probably not on the same level, but it's like you got the sense that this is an actor that is clearly passionate about this character, and that he wants to do this character justice, and so it's like I just got that total sense of commitment from Cumberbatch that I felt, Ryan Reynolds off of Deadpool. And it's like, now that I, saw Cumberbatch in Doctor Strange, it's like, I can't ever see anyone else playing this character. It's like, after just one movie, it's like he's instantly solidified himself as that character. The same as Robert Downey Jr. is Iron Man. The same way Chris Evans is Captain America. It's like, you just can't see anyone else portraying these characters. And that's why I think Marvel is, they're fucking geniuses when it comes to casting their heroes, and the way that they also portrayed the all the different dimensions, like it's indescribable. Honestly, it's just something you really have to see, just because. Just like its sheer visual style is just so surreal, but so fucking cool. And also the score by Michael Giacchino was also very terrific. And they
hold up, is that how it's pronounced? Because I've heard so many people pronounce it differently.
I've heard it pronounced like 5 different ways, so I don't know.
I'm trying to lock it down.
I am too.
I don't know how to pronounce his name, and I want to because he's a damn good composer.
He is. No, he's one of my favorite composers out there, but I just can't pronounce his last name. But yeah, so his score was very good, and it was nice seeing Rachel McAdams in there, because she's one of my favorite actresses, and I may or may not be in love with her. But yeah, I thought that, though she didn't have
Rachel, if you're single, you know where to look.
Wink, wink. Yeah. So when so I did like the camaraderie between her and Doctor Strange. I thought they had very nice chemistry. I thought they played off each other pretty good, and I wish she was in the movie a little bit longer. Not just because I wanted to look at her, because I actually did genuinely enjoy her character, and but my downside is...
Well, we'll get to downsides in the moment. Well, that'll be for after this. But we just want to...
Fine.
Dang it.
All right. If any of you are fans of the Benchwarmers, we will send you a cookie.
Yeah, Benchwarmers references are probably going to happen on every podcast, because it might be the greatest movie of all time.
You just lost your membership at Video Spot!
Dang it.
Is that Mr. T?
No, it's Dr. Dre. Okay. So is that all? Do you have anything else to say on the positives, or are you wrapping up on that point?
Honestly, like I'd probably definitely need to see it again before I give like my definitive
Definitely
final thoughts, because it's a lot to take in. Like it's just...
That's what she said.
But yeah, it's definitely it's a lot to it's just such a different comic book origin story, and so it's not your I guess like the best way to describe it is just it's fucking crazy. And but yeah, so I'm definitely gonna try to catch it at least one more time while it's still in theaters, and yeah, and so hopefully by the time I see it again and I know what to expect this time, like I'll be able to actually comprehend everything a lot more smoothly.
I don't know. Hey, after we're done recording this, you'll want to see it again. I know you're seeing the Jurassic Park in theaters again.
I am
at like 7, but
I'm gonna see Jeff Goldblum's glorious chest hair on the big screen.
I can't think of anything better than that, my friend. I believe that is the textbook definition of heaven. You look in the dictionary what heaven is, and it's just a picture of shirtless Jeff Goldblum, with or without Sam Neill gently caressing him. But I guess I'll boost off on here. So yeah, much like you, I'm a pretty big Marvel fan. I've read a few comics, mostly Iron Man, Spider-Man, and X-Men comics.
Nerd.
But yeah, I've never read an actual Doctor Strange comic in my life. I've only seen him appear in cameos, and so I really didn't know that much about him. All I knew was that he had a sick ass goatee. He wears a cape.
That was a beautiful goatee.
It was. wears a sick ass cape, has a beautiful goatee, and he does magic and shit. That is beyond that. I knew nothing about Doctor Stephen Strange, so yeah, it was really cool that I got to go into this movie, and despite not knowing anything about Strange's universe, about the infinite amount of dimensions, how I was able to understand that without having that much knowledge from reading about him previously. So you don't have to be like a hardcore Doctor Strange fan to understand what's going on. It's kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy in a way because Strange, at least I knew who he was kind of. I'd never heard of Guardians at all when that came out, and I understood everything that was going on there. But obviously, Strange is a much different level because we're going into dimensional stuff, and it deals with a new element in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
It's like, even though like this is like not one of my favorite Marvel movies, I'd say that this is probably like one of the best written out of all of them. Like just because like from a writer's perspective, like I can't even imagine how difficult it must have been to take this extremely complex idea of this character, like with all the different dimensions and stuff, and just making it float in a for the most part cohesive narrative, and
for sure,
like in a way that could also be broken down and understood for a wide audience. Like that is extremely hard to do, and I think I think they really pulled it off, because if that wasn't portrayed in the way it was, then this movie probably would have like lost a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's really one of the big things that makes this movie work, is how it's so complex and yet so simple at the same time in its storytelling.
Definitely.
It actually oddly enough, it reminded me, in terms of its pacing, it reminded me a lot of the first Iron Man movie. Just the way that Strange evolves his character.
Yeah.
He starts off as this this cocky, narcissistic asshole. He gains this huge responsibility, and instead of letting that responsibility overtake him, it teaches him valuable lessons on how to become a better person, and that actually leads me to one of my biggest praises of the movie, or not necessarily praise, because that's a weird word for it, but one of my favorite parts of the movie. So you mentioned the cast. Pretty much the entire cast is just spectacular. You pretty much said everything I wanted to say about Benedict Cumberbatch, so I want to take the time to talk about Tilda Swinton as the Ancient One, who, in my opinion,
I forgot to mention her.
In my opinion, steals the movie. She is my favorite character in the movie.
She was a badass.
Not only is she a badass, but I really like how not black and white. So I really love how not black and white this movie is. So usually, so the main villain of the movie is still kind of your typical Marvel villain. I'll get to him a bit later. But I really like, because usually the Marvel structure is you have your good guy and you have your de facto bad guy, Ant-Man was a great example of this. You have Ant-Man, the good guy. You have Corey Stoll as Yellow Jacket, the definitive bad guy. He just is. It's plain as day. Tilda Swinton is technically the good guy, but she also has a very dark side of her as well that you learn about. And because we're talking about spoilers, we can talk about the fact that she actually one of the places you're not supposed to go is the Dark Realm. That is that kind of the generic Marvel evil place, the dark dimension, and she is a character who's lived for thousands of years, and the reason she's lived for thousands of years is because she's been drawing power from this dark dimension. And even when she does die at the end of the movie, she is the good guy, but at the same time, she's been doing a lot of shady shit. And so I really like how three-dimensional she was as a character.
Yeah,
and how,
definitely.
Because obviously the movie still paints her as the quote-unquote good guy, but she's not perfect. She is far from perfect. She's an incredibly flawed character that really skews that line. In a way, she's almost an anti-hero, if that makes sense. Yeah. I wouldn't use the word anti-hero, but she definitely skews that line, even though she more faces the direction of good. And so I really like that about the movie, and that it wasn't just cut, it wasn't this side versus this side. It was really more intertangled. And that leads me to kind of to another positive point, kind of a positive and a negative point, which is a great way to segue into our negatives. The villain of the movie, who I both liked and didn't like, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the same boat as you. Like, I think Mads Mikkelsen is an extremely talented actor. Like,
Casino Royale,
yeah,
phenomenal.
I'm not a Bond fan, but I can agree that he gave a great performance in that. Like I'm still in the middle of watching it, but he's phenomenal in Hannibal. He's the first movie I saw him in was this Swedish film called The Hunt, and where he played this teacher that was wrongfully accused of molesting a child, and society is pretty much just like completely turning on him and like treating him like shit, even though there's no hard evidence to back it up. And so it's like when I first saw that, it's like okay, like he has like when I first saw him in that, it's like okay, this guy is really good at portraying a vulnerable side of a human being, and yet when he shows up in Hannibal as like this fucking monster, it's like, oh my god, this guy has tremendous range. And so I was really excited to see how he would portray a villain in Doctor Strange, and it's like I felt like he did his part in regards to performance. I felt he had screen presence. He definitely had some good highlights in there. He was good in the action scenes, but I just felt like the script didn't give him any favor. It just kind of like it just didn't really give him much to do as in terms of character development, and it's like he did plenty in character actions, but in terms of actually getting behind the motivation of the character, I didn't really buy it that much.
Yeah, I definitely feel you. So on my positive portion of what I liked about him, I really thought he had I thought he was charismatic as hell, which, I mean, that's just pure Mads Mikkelsen. I really liked, because I really thought, even though his backstory was kind of, it wasn't as generic as most Marvel villains, but it was still generic enough to where it felt like, another quote unquote Marvel villain that's not Loki.
It didn't feel as like copy paste Marvel villain as like the villains in Thor 2, but it's still
who?
Yeah, exactly.
Who?
Exactly, and yeah, again, there was nothing. It's like, even though I feel like Mads Mikkelsen did a very good performance, I'm just probably not gonna remember his character when I'm thinking back to Doctor Strange. I'm just not gonna think much of his character, and that's kind of a letdown, because he is a phenomenal actor.
Mm-hmm. So one of the highlights I do want to talk about, though, is because obviously it's a Marvel movie, and Marvel movies generally know how to balance comedy and action, and he has a great scene when he first meets Doctor Strange, and he's heard of him before, but they've never actually met. And so he goes, Mr. Strange, and then Benedict Cumberbatch is like, it's Doctor, and he looks at him funny like, Mr. Doctor, and like that was
that was great.
Like, that was a hilarious moment. Like that's something. Because a lot of the Marvel villains, they don't get the opportunity to have like really good dialogue like that, and his did. There's another great scene in that same, because there's a battle that takes place between the two of them right after that, and it takes place in this kind of in this place where there's a bunch of like artifacts that are all like magical and stuff, and Strange is like, he's like on the defensive, and he picks up this one, and Mads Mikkelsen characters, I mean, I can't even remember his villain name, that's how forgettable he is. But,
yeah, exactly.
Which is bad. I still remember Malekith in Thor the Dark World, speak of the devil. Anyways.
Who?
But anyways, yeah, but Strange picks up this artifact, and Mikkelsen, he kind of like takes a step back, like, whoa. And Strange just looks at him, and then Mads Mikkelsen just kind of turns his head and goes, you don't know how to use that, do you? And Strange just looks down at it, looks back at him, and just throws it. And like, that's a funny ass scene.
It was. Like, no, I was laughing for a solid 2 minutes after that.
But yeah, and then it's just unfortunate because he has really good dialogue, and being Mads Mikkelsen, he has terrific delivery of the lines, but he just isn't given that much to work with in terms of his motivation.
Yeah, so like, because I really want to see Mads Mikkelsen, just like portray a really great villain in like in a big either like sci-fi or fantasy movie again, which is why I'm really excited to see him in Rogue One. Like I think he's gonna fucking kill it in Rogue One.
I thought that was Mads. Yeah, you're right. It was it's Lars Mikkelsen who's doing Admiral Thrawn on Rebels.
I don't even know who that is.
Oh.
So,
but yeah.
Some fan I am.
But yeah, is there any other negatives? Because I have one other big one off the top of my head that I'd like to talk about. If you,
I mean, other than that, like it's mostly just sort of nitpicking. Like I felt like there was occasionally some tonal inconsistencies. Some of the comedy didn't work for me and came off as a little awkward at some points. But other than that, like it's a completely serviceable Marvel movie. It's like I would say it's definitely worthy of cracking the top 10 for sure. But yeah, like I don't think this one is gonna have as much rewatch value for me as something like Iron Man or Captain America Winter Soldier. But it's definitely something I'm gonna be picking up on Blu-ray when it comes out. But yeah, it's I would definitely if I were to rate it, it'd be a solid like 8.5.
Yeah. So yeah, before I rate it, probably my last real big negative of the film is actually towards one of the characters, Mordo, played by one of my favorite actors, Chiwetel Ejiofor,
he's phenomenal.
who I first discovered in 12 Years a Slave, which if you haven't seen it, it's a brutal movie, but just it is fucking phenomenal. I think everybody should see that movie at least once.
It's definitely like I'd say this definitely this decade's Schindler's List.
Yeah, kind of. I can't really compare the two because they even like I know what you mean, but they're very different.
Yeah,
films.
Like in terms of like just like emotionally effective historical drama that
doesn't
hold back.
Yeah, I definitely 100% agree with you there. But Chiwetel Ejiofor, I really liked his character throughout the movie. However, there's two post-credit scenes in the movie. The first one, so actually we got to talk about the post-credit scenes.
We do.
So yeah, the first post-credit scene is really cool because it talks about what's gonna happen in Thor Ragnarok. And
like,
so
I didn't even know like Doctor Strange was gonna show up in that one.
Yeah, that was the big reveal because we knew Hulk was gonna be in Thor Ragnarok, but we found out with that first post-credit scene that now Dr. Stephen Strange is going to be turning that shit into a trio in Thor Ragnarok. So that's gonna be
awesome.
That's gonna be insane.
That's gonna be so cool to see. And throw in Jeff Goldblum and Sam Neill.
I mean,
yeah, because I was never too big on the first two Thor movies, and so like my friend James, shout out to James Gregory right there. He said like once Sam Neill was announced, he just like sent me this comment. All like, guys, maybe, alright, so Jeff didn't like the first two Thor movies, so how can we make him get on our side? And, yeah, I'm on your side now. You done good.
So yeah, there's that first, so I really like the first credit scene. The second credit scene, I didn't like as much. Well, what are your thoughts on it?
I don't even remember the second scene that at all.
I'll explain. So what happened is Mordo, Chiwetel Ejiofor, for context, at the end of the movie, after Strange defeats the big bad guy, Mordo basically goes, "Look, man, I'm glad you saved the universe, but you are way too powerful right now." And you could have potentially, you saved this whole dimension, but you could have fucked over this as well as thousands of other dimensions if you had just slipped up even a tiny bit. That was a really stupid thing you did, and I'm done with this whole organization.
Yeah.
And so he basically walks off. And so in the second post-credit scene, there's the guy, I can't remember his name, but in the beginning of the movie where Strange talks to the guy who was paralyzed, but then he went to this place and he used the power to walk again. The second post-credits scene shows Mordo seeking the guy out, and basically he goes to him and robs all his power from him, and now this dude's paralyzed again. He's like, dude, why are you doing this? And he goes, too many sorcerers. And I didn't like that at all because that didn't feel like the natural progression that Mordo's character would have gone through.
It's like it just felt like a nothing scene to me. It's just like, because again, I completely forgot that it even fucking happened, but it was just like one of those post-credit scenes that I just don't have an opinion on. It's like it just sort of happened. It's like I was already like I had a big old smile on my face during the first one, seeing Doctor Strange with Thor, and I'm like, oh, that's gonna be cool. And if it ended on that note, like I would have left completely satisfied. But after the last post-credit scene, I'm just like, all right.
Yeah, when you do mention it, I actually do think it would have been better if those were reversed.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of like what Ant-Man did, where they played the first post-credit scene was the one related to the movie, and then the last one was the one setting up Civil War.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that would have been, but even so, like I would have preferred it that way. But even so, I just don't like that scene because I just don't feel like that's something that Mordo would do. Mordo was a much unlike the Ancient One. Mordo did seem like a much more crystal clear good guy. Like he was somebody that was like all for like honoring the code, and he was pissed off when he found out that the Ancient One was lying to him all along. He's like, how could you do this? And in a way I feel like him. I'm gonna make a reference that some of the people, I don't think you're gonna get this because I know you haven't watched Clone Wars yet, but I feel like some of the people on the podcast are. If you have seen Clone Wars, you'll know that there's a character, and I'm not gonna spoil this for you because I know you haven't watched Clone Wars yet, but there's an original character introduced in the Clone Wars, and in the 5th season, they end up leaving the Jedi Order. However, this character is not. They do not make this character become a bad guy. This character just does not agree with the Jedi way. They're still a good guy. They're still Force users, but they still care about the people in the Jedi Order, but they no longer associate with them. And you guys, if you've seen Clone Wars, you know who I'm talking about. But yeah, I feel like something along that lines would have made much more sense for Mordo. Like, hey, you know what? I'm not associating myself with you guys. I don't approve of any of this. You guys, like, I have to rediscover. And I think him, like, more so rediscovering himself, like, where he fits in this world now that this master that he's looked up to all his life is not only dead, but pretty much lied to his face. And so I feel like it would make much more sense for him to reevaluate his place in the world and kind of, because basically they just set him up to be another generic throwaway villain.
Yeah.
And it totally just did not feel, and again, I haven't read the comics, so I'm sure Mordo was a legit villain in the comics, but the way they set him up in the movie, it didn't jive with me well. Like it was just, and it wasn't even like, if he was like, okay, you know what, there's too many sorcerers, that would kind of make sense, but why go after the guy that's not doing a damn thing? This guy was just using, he wasn't casting, he was just using it to walk. That's all this guy was doing. And that's the first guy he takes the power from?
Yeah.
That made zero sense. And so that's honestly probably my biggest pet peeve with the movie, because up until that point I loved where Mordo's character was going, and then that scene kind of just ruined it all. And it's unfortunate especially when you look at the Ancient One and Doctor Strange and pretty much almost all the surrounding cast who had really great character development throughout the whole movie.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, that's my thoughts on Doctor Strange. Much like you, I don't really do the whole number scale thing, but just off the top of my head, an 8 sounds about right for me, I think.
Yeah, so. I was kind of borderline 8.5, but I think I'm gonna go for an 8 just because I don't think it's just gonna have all the rewatch value I hoped it would have.
I will say though, I do want to, like you said, I do want to watch this in theaters again. I'm very curious to see it in 3D because I never.
Oh, the 3D was amazing.
Okay, so you did see it in 3D.
Yeah, IMAX 3D.
Oh, okay. I didn't see this in 3D, but every single reviewer that I've seen review this movie, even the ones that despise 3D, have said that you need to see this in 3D.
You definitely should see it in 3D.
So yeah, next time I see this, I'm definitely gonna get myself a 3D ticket because I'm really curious to see how that turns out. I mean, the thing looked gorgeous in 2D. Like I can honestly say those are. The stuff in the mirror dimension, especially
that was amazing.
The stuff in the mirror dimension is some of the best special effects I've seen in a movie like ever. I'm not even exaggerating.
No,
it is
that blew my
it is
fucking
insane.
mind.
Like, I mean, like we both of us, we'll decry like when a movie overuses too much CG, but this was like a movie where like a amount of CG was like it was used great.
Yeah, no, it's like a movie like this needed CGI.
Oh yeah. Wait, you mean to tell me that all that Inception shit, that wasn't real buildings doing all that? What?
My life is a lie!
But yeah, so how many Super we had? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think we had 5 superhero movies. Does that sound right? Do we have 5 this year?
5 this year? So we have Deadpool, Civil War, Batman v Superman, Suicide Squad, and Doctor Strange. Yeah.
So yeah, we had
and only 2 of them were good, or 3 of them actually.
Yeah, I was about to say 3.
3 of them. Yeah, I was like, wait, no, I take that back. So yeah, pretty much anything DC has been terrible.
oh yeah, we're not.
And now DC fanboys are gonna rip me a new asshole, saying like,
"Oh no,
it's genius! Zack Snyder is the best director ever."
Oh no, we lost the 4 viewers we had.
Darn.
So, anyways,
stop! Don't come back.
So yeah, I guess since we've gone through all the superhero movies, we're about to hit the hour and a half mark on our first podcast ever.
Fuck, it's been that long?
Yeah, seriously.
You wasted that much time of my life?
Yeah, I did.
Shit.
But so I think a great thing to end off on. Yeah, so now we've gone through all of the superhero movies or comic book movies of this year. So the final thing that we'll leave off on, what was your favorite comic book movie and your least favorite comic book movie this year, and why for each of those?
That's tough.
It doesn't. Your description of why doesn't have to be super detailed because I know I'm putting you on the spot. But
I loved Deadpool, but I would say my favorite is definitely Captain America: Civil War, just because there was, I guess, just because of the way it there was no it's like you saw clearly both sides of the argument, and that's what I think that's what I think what made it compelling is that you saw where Captain America was coming from, and you saw where Iron Man was coming from, and you saw like what every superhero on both of their sides were coming from. And so I think that's just what made it extremely fascinating. And seeing Spider-Man in there was just a fucking blast.
Holy shit!
Hey, did you guys ever see that really old movie, The Empire Strikes Back?
Jesus,
how
old
is this kid?
Like, it was just such a fun movie, and Black Panther was the shit.
Oh my god! We're already an hour and a half in. Don't get me on to talk about how amazing Black Panther is.
Yeah. So just to speed things up,
my favorite part of that movie probably, but that's
my least favorite, definitely Batman v Superman, because
it's not Deadpool. What? No.
What? No.
Oh, hey, Mark Wahlberg.
Say hi to your mother for me.
Batman v Superman was one of the most depressing movie-going experiences of my life. Leaving that movie, I felt like I wanted to fucking kill myself. I was so depressed, and
we're millennials, don't we always want to do that?
Yeah, exactly. But it was pretty much what if you ever thought to yourself, hey, what if Captain America: Civil War was complete nonsensical bullshit that made no fucking sense? It'd be Batman v Superman.
What if Captain America's mother was named Martha?
And that's why I hate the movie.
Oh, and also I will state this for the record. Jesse Eisenberg's performance is the worst performance of 2016.
Wow, that is quite a statement there.
I will stand by that. You have no idea how many times I wanted to just fucking leave. Like, the only good thing about that movie was Ben Affleck.
I do think there are two good things about that movie. There's Ben Affleck and the Neil deGrasse Tyson cameo.
That was glorious. But yeah, I would say it's like, I don't know if that's gonna be my worst movie of the year because
well, we're just talking about comic book movies right now.
Yeah, like I would say there's one other movie out there that I have yet to see that involving ghosts and probably busting them that I'll probably hate more.
And Fallout Boy.
Yeah. I wanted to. Oh my god, fuck! I feel like I won't be able to make a definitive worst list unless I see that movie. So I'm just like, god damn it. Yeah, my name is Jeff, and I suck at staying on topic. So I'm moving it over to Reese.
All right, so much like you, Jeff, my favorite movie of the year was indeed Captain America: Civil War. But like you said, one of the most compelling things, because I was mostly everybody was on Team Cap side. I was one of the few Team Iron Man people. But after watching the movie, like you said, I really understood both. I thought I heard my cat for a second. But yeah, sorry about that. But yeah, I understood where both sides were coming from, and I thought it was especially compelling because it was almost like their views swapped from what their original conception was. So, or inception, not conception. But because like if you go back to Iron Man 1, Tony Stark was totally anti-government, especially in Iron Man 2. Like the government was like, "Yo, the government wanted to make his suit government property." He is like, hands off, don't tread on me.
Yeah, exactly.
No step on Snack. Yeah, he was like, fuck you, Gary Shandling. Rip. But yeah, and then meanwhile you had Captain America, who's like, America, land of the free, always serve your country, and
America,
fuck
yeah.
He was always stand by your country no matter what. And then Tony, as the movies progressed, he's, in Iron Man. Oh, thank you for that.
That's what I'm here for, boo.
Oh my gosh, all the viewers do not know the context of that at all. So have fun imagining what just happened. So yeah,
you'll never know.
Yeah, just don't show them the bodies. So Captain America, when Winter Soldier hits, he realizes that, hold on, I love this country, but maybe I can't quite trust the government. I mean, especially with how Hydra infiltrated S.H.I.E.L.D., which was where he was working, and so that evolved his views. And then Tony's views have always been kind of evolving as the movies progress, but it really hit a standstill in Age of Ultron because he brings us up in the movie. He creates Ultron. He takes full responsibility for that, and he realizes, hey, you know what? If I had some government oversight, I wouldn't have made this stupid decision that almost killed off the entire planet in an extinction-wide event. And so it makes sense why they're both on these, they both have been through such different scenarios and have gone through, different hardships that it makes sense why they'd be on these positions. And they both bring up great points that backs up both of their arguments. And so when they do clash, it makes it that much more emotional.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you're like, fuck, I understand. And especially, and that's for the most part. At the end, Tony does become irrational, but again, it makes sense with the context. I really like how the last part of the movie wasn't even, okay, we're going to go into Civil War spoilers now. We'll hold up. But yeah, I really like how at the end of Civil War, it's not even about his views anymore. It's about the Winter Soldier murdered my parents. My parents' death is pretty much the tipping point of my lifelong depression, and now that I know this, I've just completely lost all rational thought and I want to fucking murder you. And so it made that emotional too, because a lot of people were like it's irrational. Yeah, it's irrational. That's the point. But it totally makes sense for Tony. Especially Anyways, I'm going on. I've talked way too much about Civil War. That's why I like Civil War. My least favorite comic book movie of the year. Now, unlike Jeff, I did not like Batman v Superman. However, I still thought it was a relatively entertaining movie. I thought most of the fight sequences were good, despite Batman basically being the Punisher.
Hey, look! Sherry!
The bells are ringing. Ding, 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 ding.
Bruce Wayne meets Clark Kent. I love bringing people together.
Fuck that movie.
It's not a good movie.
Oh.
I still thought it was relatively entertaining, but it is not a good movie. Martha would be very displeased.
I'm gonna chase Martha!
Why do you keep saying that name?
Martha!
Rest in peace, headphones users. But I'm gonna go in a different direction because my least favorite movie of the year was another DC movie by the name of Suicide Squad. If you know me, and Jeff and I were talking about this earlier before the podcast, but you know that I am not a fan of Iron Man 3. It's kind of become an inside joke at this point how much I dislike Iron Man 3 because I'm very over the top when I talk about it. When I saw Suicide Squad...
He doesn't know what he's talking about. It's actually a very good movie.
You shut your face.
Fight me.
I will after the podcast.
No, they need to hear.
Don't get me out more off topic than I already am.
Dude, it's me. Of course you're off topic.
But the point is, I dislike Suicide Squad even more than I hated Iron Man 3. I was so pissed off during Suicide Squad that I didn't walk away, but the only reason I didn't walk away is because I'd actually driven people there and I couldn't leave my friends there. But if I wasn't driving anybody, I probably would have left 30 minutes earlier because it's such a fucking boring movie. No, there's I don't even know where to begin. Probably I'll just go with here's the problem with Suicide Squad in a nutshell. The best character in there is not Will Smith. It is Jai Courtney. When Jai Courtney has more charismatic presence than Will Smith, you fucked up. You fucked up.
You're not wrong. I didn't think Suicide Squad was like the worst thing ever. I mean, it was like, I don't think it's a good movie at all. It's like the whole time I was watching it, it's like I just kept thinking like, okay, this is where the studio fucked with it. Okay, this is where David Ayer can actually make his movie. Okay, there's Warner Brothers again fucking with it. But so it's like I never, I always got the sense that it was just like a completely studio interference movie. And but I at least liked a couple of the characters. I at least laughed a few times. I had a big dopey smile during a few scenes, and that is because at least I left the theater with a little smile on my face, because when I left Batman v Superman, I just left there mopey and depressed. I just felt like I wasted so many hours of my time. But it's like with Suicide Squad, like I'm not gonna watch it again, but it's like at least I wasn't in pain while I was watching it. It's like I at least felt like there were elements that did work, and but I just felt because I don't think Zack Snyder is a good director at all, so I don't think Batman v Superman ever had a shot. But David Ayer is a great director, and I think that it's like I completely blame the studio for this and not him. If they and the moments where he's actually able to do his David Ayer-ish stuff, I think that's where it actually shines. But because there's too much studio interference, it completely gets overshadowed, and so it's tremendous wasted potential. And I just don't think DC and Warner Brothers, they don't know what the fuck they're doing. And I know you like Man of Steel, but mm-hmm. I think all these movies have been pretty shitty. But I think I consider Suicide Squad the least painful kick to the balls.
Yeah, so for me, like, every movie has gotten progressively worse for me. So, like, as you mentioned, like, we have polar opposite opinions on Man of Steel. He despises that movie. I think Man of Steel is a masterpiece. Exactly. Batman v Superman, I didn't like, but I still thought it was entertaining. Suicide Squad was just... I was like, again, like, I wanted to walk out of the movie, and that's something I've never... Even Iron Man 3, like, I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna bear through this. Suicide Squad, I legitimately wanted to walk out of the movie.
The closest I've ever come to walking out of a movie was Terminator Genesis.
Terminator Genesis, as John Schnepp calls it.
Why there's so many bad movies?
Because you touch yourself at night.
Oh, it all makes sense now.
There must be steroids in macaroni!
Again, if you like the Benchwarmers, you're cool with us.
You cool, dog. But no, like,
yeah,
my biggest... I think my biggest problem with the Suicide Squad, it isn't the fact that nothing that happens in the movie makes sense. It's the most important part of that movie is you're introducing us to this plethora of characters that need to be likable, and I didn't give a shit out any of them. Not one. The only character that really had an impact on me was Jai Courtney as Captain Boomerang. Which is odd because, I mean, it's Jai Courtney. Fuck Jai Courtney. But he's actually really good in this movie, which is weird considering how much I disliked this movie. I really liked him. But he's really not given that much to work with. You know, he's a comic relief, if anything. He's not like one of the main focuses. I didn't give a shit about anybody else because I didn't buy the relationship between the characters at all. And that is the most important part of trying to sell this movie to us, is this relationship between all these characters and this bonding of family, and I didn't buy that once.
I didn't either. Honestly, I think like the worst thing about this was the marketing. Is I think it was the first trailer. It was edited in a way to make it look like the the Suicide Squad are going on some mission, and throughout the night the Joker is just fucking with them, just all throughout the night. Because there was a moment in the trailer where Will Smith was just like, oh no, and then it immediately cuts to Jared Leto's Joker laugh, and so it's like when you watch that, it's like you're just thinking, oh, okay, so that obviously means Deadshot is referring to the presence of the Joker, but when you watch the movie, that's not the case at all. The Joker actually is in one scene with the Suicide Squad, but he's just arriving in a fucking helicopter to pick up Harley Quinn. So he's not doing anything. So I think marketing like that just pisses me the fuck off.
So you brought up two things that I want to talk about. First of all, by far the worst line in that movie. What are we, some kind of Suicide Squad? Oh my god! That was the moment right there where I'm like, fuck it, I'm leaving.
Honestly, Will Smith should have done Independence Day too.
You made the wrong decision, Will.
Yeah, when we will both stand by this. Independence Day Resurgence is a better fucking movie than both Suicide Squad and Batman v Superman.
It is. It's wholeheartedly agree.
It's a stupid movie, but it knows it's a stupid movie.
It is fucking entertaining.
It is so fucking entertaining.
I honestly think the critics were a bit harsh. I just saw Resurgence a few days ago. I gotta say, it was actually a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, no, because that. All I wanted out of that movie was just a big, dumb, stupid, messy movie with aliens doing cool shit and Jeff Goldblum being awesome, and that's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
And plus, that one Jeff Goldblum moment where they're flying into space, and he's just ah! that is that's fucking legendary. If you saw the movie, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, and that alone is worth it's worth buying it.
So yeah, that's my first. That was almost as cringe-inducing as the Martha line in BVS. But no,
Martha!
But no, the second thing that brings me up, that I want to bring up too, you mentioned Joker picking up Harley Quinn. That, of all the relationships that I didn't buy, that was the worst, in my opinion, of the portrayed relationships. A lot of my friends are like,
I didn't buy the chemistry, but I loved the visual look of it.
Yeah, I liked their. I actually liked Jared Leto's character design a lot, but I didn't like his actual portrayal of the Joker.
I felt like it didn't leave any sort of impact on me, but it's like I'm at least interested enough to see what he can do with more screen time and actually a fucking story to back it up with. So it's like I at least want to. I liked him enough to want to see him come back and actually expand on his role, because it's like I at least want to see where else he could take it.
I can't say the same, but I mean, I'm a comic book movie whore, so I'm going to see the rest of the movies that DC puts out. Here's crossing our fingers that Wonder Woman is good, because that second trailer I really enjoyed a lot. But I also really enjoyed the second BVS trailer, and that did not.
Well, I'm not even watching the trailers anymore because I think it was like the whatever the 4-minute trailer for Batman v Superman was. That was the whole goddamn movie.
I didn't watch the 4-minute trailer, but anyways, I really want Wonder Woman to be good. I really want that.
I want it to be good, but I just don't think it's gonna be good.
I'm crossing my fingers. It looks like it has a much different tone.
Well, like I just don't buy Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman at all.
I liked her as Wonder Woman.
I just think she's a terrible actress.
I actually haven't seen her, because I know she was in one of the Fast and Furious movies. I haven't.
Few of them actually.
Yeah. I haven't seen any of the Fast and Furious movies. That's all I know. Those are the only movies I know she's in. So the only movie I've actually seen her in is Wonder Woman in BVS, and that was one of the few things I liked. I thought she did. It didn't blow my mind, but I was like, you were decent.
Well, it's like I felt she kind of, I guess she had an alright look for the character, but she had zero screen presence for me, and it's like I'm just like I'm just looking. I feel like I'm just looking at like professional cosplay of Wonder Woman, not Wonder Woman.
I thought she did a decent job, but then again, she was only in costume for like 5 minutes at most, and so
because she was totally needed for that movie.
Yeah, right.
Just like Doomsday.
She was don't you know she was needed for the cameo where she opens up the emails that shows all the other cameos. It was a cameo inside of a cameo.
How could anyone like that fucking movie?
Oh. I thought it was not a good movie. I thought it was entertaining, and it had Neil deGrasse Tyson.
But Martha.
Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, we are about an hour and 45 minutes in. That is our podcast for the day. We spent a lot more time talking about that last section than I really anticipated.
Yeah, we really did. So, yeah, you just.
But yeah.
I mean, if you expected some kind of, big payoff after sitting through all this, you were wrong.
You were sadly mistaken.
You wasted many minutes of your life with us.
Many.
So we'll see you next week. Hey Reese, you want to go save Martha?
Why do you keep saying that name?
We gotta save Martha.
Oh my gosh, I'm sure our audience is not sick of hearing that. But anyways, guys, that is our very first episode of Jeff and Reese Talk Shit. We're going to make this a regular thing. We're still working out the schedule, but we really hope that you enjoyed your stay here today. It went a little bit long, but that could be a good or bad thing depending on your stats. But anyways, we're going to be signing off now. Have a wonderful day, and don't take our bullshit seriously.
Yeah, please don't. Just don't.
Bye. Bye.